Welcome to day 4 of God's Strength for Anxious Times. So far we've reflected on the first verse of the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. The second verse starts like this: He makes me lie down in green pastures. And what strikes me first about that is this word makes. He makes me lie down. I stood outside my back door just recently and listened. And I didn't hear any cars. I didn't hear any planes overhead. And it feels like so many things in this particular time have shut down. So many opportunities to be out and about have gone. So many of us are at home. And there's a stillness, sometimes a slightly eerie stillness that seems to be all around us at the moment. But do you know, within that, I think there is an invitation from the Good Shepherd who makes me lie down in green pastures. Now, don't hear me wrong, I'm not for a second saying that God causes the coronavirus. I don't believe he does. I think that's down to our human actions, our human lifestyle. But still, there's an opportunity. And there's an invitation for you and I to waste time with Jesus. I don't know about you, but I have this script that runs in my head that says I must always be making good use of my time. I must be productive. And so when one form of activity is removed, it's easy to fill up your time with another form of activity. And maybe just now, when there's a little bit more time available to a lot of us, there's a temptation to just fill up that time. And can I encourage you not to fill up all of your time with binging on Netflix box sets or Instagram or YouTube or Facebook or telly or whatever it is. And these things are all great, but if we just soak up our time, then we drown out the opportunity to press into the Good Shepherd's invitation in this time. He makes me lie down in green pastures. Do you know, Jesus, our Good Shepherd, spent a good chunk of his time in silence and solitude. And he invites us to encounter him in that space, in this time where there is more opportunity for solitude and for stillness. I've heard quite a lot recently about how this isolation can be bad for people's mental health, and there's a lot of truth in that, and we certainly need to watch out for one another and watch out for the most vulnerable people in our midst in this time. But I want to also say that God makes it very clear in his words that actually times of coming away from noise and activity and connection with other people can be very rich, can be opportunities for, yes, our emotional and mental well-being to be well served. And yes, in particular, our spiritual well-being to be well served by time spent alone with God. And you know, when you spend time with God in silence and in solitude, at first it can feel really difficult. But when you press in, something starts to happen. The more you spend time with the Good Shepherds, the more you start to find that love and joy and peace become embedded in your life in a deeper way. And that's part of your Good Shepherd's invitation to you in the midst of all that is trying and difficult in these days. So in the midst of the restrictions that you face, think about how you will make space. Think about how you want to use your time. Don't let it just go up by default, but be intentional about how you use your time. Let me finish with a quote from Anne Morrow Lindberg. She says this: "It is a difficult lesson to learn today, to leave one's friends and family and deliberately practice the art of solitude for an hour or a day or a week. For me, the break is most difficult. And yet, once it's done, I find there is a quality to being alone that is incredibly precious. Life rushes back into the void, richer, more vivid, fuller than before." So God bless you. Stay safe, and may you encounter the Good Shepherd's treasures in this time of isolation.